The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. Hey, everybody. How are y'all? Special guest tonight, The Other Life, Ivan and Ulana. And we are here at the house. They came up. They've been here for what?
Almost a week.
Yeah, almost a week.
Almost like
So, welcome, everybody. Mims's
guys.
Garden in the house. Georgiana
Hello.
Malone. How are you? Emily, Jessica, Fairy Tale, Miss Jen. Rules, how are you? Welcome from Canada. Good stuff. We're glad you're here. So yeah, we've been rocking. I'm gonna be leaning all night because I'm at a different angle trying to see the chat, but that's okay. We're glad to be here. We're glad that you're safe, Mims and Fairy Tale. Glad you guys are safe down there. Oh man, Chris, I became a widow last week. I've been with my husband for 20 years and he died in an ATV accident. So I truly ask for prayers because my life has been flipped. Jessica, we love you. We'll pray for you. And I am sorry for your loss. Be comforted in knowing, hopefully, that he has gone to the right place. And, I am very, very sad for you. And we love you. And we'll pray for you guys hard.
Oh well.
Sorry, we need to
for sure.
put you on a lot of prayer walls.
Yeah.
So I know you've been here. Thank you for coming on tonight. I know it might just pull your brain away a little bit. So good. Man, he was only 38.
Aww.
It sucks. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
That's young, real
Yeah.
young. Sorry.
9 years older than me.
Yeah.
That's not much.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
not much.
That is that's a rough one, Jessica. But God's got your back, and nothing happens in this world without a reason. So
That is true.
That's true.
you may not understand it now, but I know from you being on here before, you know that God has you and has you cradled in his arms right now, spreading joy and love over you, even though right now he's putting you through a trial. So it's just, that's a hard one. Hey, Emma, how are you? JENC and me. So yeah, I know they're kind of backed off. We put them in a couch so they could be comfortable. We just got ELYN down late, so she just laid down. She's probably sitting upstairs listening to us. I know a lot of y'all wanted to see her.
Yeah.
She said something about doing a live tomorrow during the day, so we might jump on for just a minute for her, just to let her get on. Hidden within myself. What's going on, Francine? What's going on? We are good. I am actually headed out tomorrow about 7:00. I will be coming down to Florida. I have a friend who called me up and needs me to come help. Hey, guest and Chris and Mims, Fairy Tale says.
Hello.
We are, Fairy Tale is Mims's best friend. I don't know if you know that, the
Yeah.
mod squad.
Okay.
So we're going down, had kind of an emergency on a apple or a orange grove, and needs a large number of hogs taken off of the orange grove. So we're going to run down there and take care of that business for him real quick, and then come back Monday. So we're running out and running back pretty quick. Cajun Homesteader, what's going down, my friend? Glad to see you on here. We have, once again, guys, for those of you just coming on, this is Ivan and Ulana, and that's the first 2 times I've said her name correctly, and I probably didn't say it correctly then.
That's
So
fine.
it is what it is. She
Yeah.
knows I love her, but that's it. I just can't say his name correctly. So we've just been chilling out. They're going to watch the farm for a few days and get to have the house to themselves. If any of you guys throughout the area, what areas do you guys plan on going to next?
It's gonna be north from here, probably.
North from here. So go to head toward the Dakotas, or are you going to head mid Arkansas, Missouri?
We're thinking Wisconsin, Dakotas, Nebraska, Iowa.
Okay.
Those states.
So if anybody's in those states and you wanna host these guys for a day or two or a week, get a hold of us through my email or The Other Life.
Just the other
The Other Life.
Yeah.
That's their American channel.
Yes.
And for any of you Russians there, you can go to
Просто другая жизнь.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can go there if you have anybody in those areas. Ivan's a tech genius.
Oh, yes.
This woman and I have been cooking some meals.
Oh, yes,
When we come back, I promise you all, there will be videos. coming out. I know I've been slack, but there will be videos coming out. And this guy's probably not going to be in them until the end when he's shoving stuff in his face. We're going to cook. We've had a lot of fun cooking. We've done Russian dumplings.
Yes.
We've done, I can't say it correctly,
Pierogi.
pierogi, which is like a
Like American pie.
like a pie, yeah. But it's got meat and stuff in it. Back to Rootstead, what's going on?
Wow.
And then we did fried potatoes tonight. And then you did what's the cake called that we did?
It's called Charlotte, like it's like apple pie.
Yeah, it's to me, what I would compare it to for the American part is almost like a denser bread pudding with apples into it and stuff. And whoa, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's
How
good.
come you haven't
Market.
me so I can formally meet them? We can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'll
Mimi's
give them your
Garden.
phone number and they can Marco you
Yeah.
themselves.
I follow Mimi's Garden on my Instagram channel.
Mims's Garden is my hero.
Wow.
She is my sister from another mother,
I see.
Wow.
and I'm her brother from
Oh,
another
good
mother.
to know.
So great. Fairy Tale is awesome too. I got to get her some gothic chickens. Everybody on this channel, you guys know that.
If anyone wanna have us next,
I mean,
Yeah.
why
we could
not?
pass those chickens on.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Just
So
let us-
Oh, our first ever commercial load
Oh,
we
yes.
did were for
Fried
chickens.
chickens, yes.
It was from California, Bay Area,
to Texas.
Texas near San Antonio.
Yeah.
just for 4 chickens,
Yeah, they pay like
Wow.
Just
250
4
bucks.
chickens.
$250 to move 4 chickens.
Yes, and the reason was because kids will love them.
Oh yeah. It was like their pets. They wanted
Oh
to
my
keep it.
goodness, that's fine. Hey, Merit Al Gungor, how are you from Turkey? Good to have you here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
welcome.
Welcome. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. These guys, we're having lots of fun. We're having good conversation, good debate, open, good,
Mhm.
solid debate on talking about stuff. We've done some switches on like food stuff. Like we put
yeah.
some venison in these
Pierogi.
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 We put wild hog in them, and then we did some with apples in them, and then we did some with cottage cheese in them. So the stringier venison and hog meat is not traditional,
Right.
but it came out good. It
Yeah,
it tasted
did.
good.
It was alright.
It wasn't
Mhm.
traditional,
Yeah.
but now we're gonna get some ground meat and go into them too, and do those again
Mhm.
next week. So
Yeah.
15 more days till deer season here, October 1st. JE&C, it opens Saturday actually in Florida. It opens the 26th here in Tennessee. So we are actually going to be able to hunt deer this weekend too while we're hunting hogs. But our main purpose is to kill hogs. But there's a lot of big deer in the orange groves too. So I can see the chat, but can't hear who the guest is. I'm right where the hurricane affected. Okay,
Oh.
Emily, it's Ivan and ELYN. Here, type in your stuff.
I'm gonna do it from my phone.
Okay, if
Ivan,
it
I'm
won't,
just gonna
it
say
shouldn't.
hi from my.
Well, it shouldn't slow it down since we're hardwired.
Yes.
I wouldn't think that little.
It's not about that per se, but
But he can
Maybe.
do from his
Yeah.
channel, from our channel.
Okay, yeah. So because you're moderator on there too.
Yeah.
So
I am.
so-
I think I am on both channels
Mhm.
yeah.
that I have.
So yeah, but we're just having a blast. We're just
Oh,
having
yes.
fun. ELYN's loving it. This girl doesn't put down knitting needles the entire
yeah.
time she's here. She's like, "Me, me, 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 me."
Let's do this.
And I'm like, what in the world are you doing? Okay, Mims beat you. Ivan's gonna post his
Mhm.
actual
There you
link
go,
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
So
correct
there it
spelling
is.
of my name.
This is my Russian channel.
Yes.
So
And Mims forgot just.
just you gotta put
Yeah.
just the other life.
Just, I mean,
Yeah.
it used to be the other life, but there's so many, and we're like,
Yeah, there was so many channels with the other
Yeah.
life, and I'm like, you know what?
let's make it different.
Yeah.
Let's adjust.
We
the-
added the word just in the beginning just to stand out.
Yes.
Just and she's crying.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah.
I think you're getting something there from.
Yeah.
What does that say?
Let's see.
Is that
Uh,
something in
Let me read it here.
No.
Nabia.
No.
Nozu?
Nabia.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure
Merit
what that
Al-
means.
Not
To be
sure what
honest.
it
Golden Core?
means.
Try again.
Try again. I missed
Yeah.
that one. I'm so sorry. Maybe he was trying to say something in Russian and it translated
just
because
use-
of the
And I
online.
just texted from the English channel.
Yeah.
And there's the English language.
Yeah, so we have.
Yep.
So basically, in Russian, просто другая жизнь, just the other, same thing, just the other life. It's just
Yeah, it's the
in
same
Russian.
name.
Mhm.
It's just two different languages.
Yep.
That's all.
And most everybody on here knows Ivan and Elena on the channel. They come on and they're active in the chats all the time.
Mhm.
So most of you guys know, but just for background for you that don't know, they're cross country truckers. They're a team. They drive Class C, correct?
Class
Class
B.
B.
Class B,
We used to drive Class C, but now Class B.
and they're going to be looking at getting their Class A,
Mm-hmm.
DASSAK, DASK.
Yeah.
Not
Just
sure.
use English for comments.
Uh,
I'm not sure what the language is, to be
I'm not
honest.
sure
I don't
what
know.
this means.
don't know Merritt, but
Yeah.
so they're cross country truckers. They're at the point now where they've come to a point where they can take a year almost off, and they're traveling looking for where their forever home's going to be. They want to get out of California. Is the
We
goal?
did.
We did.
Well, they're
yeah.
out.
We're
out, but they're looking for
residents
home.
of South Dakota.
Yes.
Okay.
For almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Since we completed.
they're out. They have family still that are in the California area, so that's a good thing because now you
Mhm.
don't have to say you're from California. You can say you're from South
I
Dakota.
know.
Just
Mhm.
change them license plates on that car, and you'll be
Oh,
safe.
Yeah.
yeah.
Once
Chris,
we
have
get a
him
pink
hit
slip
me
plate,
up for the free cheat sheets in a CDL instructor. As a CN, I'm a
Oh, we
CDL
don't need cheat
instructor.
sheets. We're
They've
good.
been doing it forever.
Yeah, we can do PTI with our eyes closed. It's no big deal for us.
Yeah,
The PTI or testing behind computer because we already have.
but
CDL
thanks
Class
for the
B.
hookup.
Yeah.
Well, there's websites. For me personally, I forgot which website, but
Easy CDL.
EasyCDL, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's all this tests
Yeah.
possible and
Dad
actual
got his Illinois
questions.
license, so we were working on trucks. He is tonight. Awesome, JENC.
Nice.
So what they're doing though is they're traveling and they're trying to find out exactly because like they've both been saying since they've been here, there's a difference of driving a truck and hitting every place at 60
Oh, yeah.
miles an hour when you're going through and possibly getting a day or two off here and there, but taking a tractor trailer or a box truck into an area where you can see, unless you're like you were talking about Mount Rushmore that
Mhm.
has parking and stuff
Or
for big
RV
trucks
place.
or RV place. So for them to be able to do that, you have to get an Uber, you have to rent a car, you have to do something of that
Mhm.
nature.
Yes.
So not to give away too much of their stuff because you need to go watch their channel to find out what they're going to do.
Yeah.
What they're planning on doing is go and looking at each one of these places that they want to be,
Right.
and then they're going to go back to work for a short time to finance that final purchase.
Right.
Yeah.
But they have some amazing ideas. They have some sound ideas.
Mhm.
They're gypsies like me, so I'm
Yeah.
telling them, find your home place, but find something else small, someplace else, because you're going to want to jump back and forth. But they kind of have that in the back of their head already too. Yelena likes more of the green Tennessee, Kentucky area.
Yeah.
Ivan likes more of the Dakotas, the Wyoming, Montana area. So they're going to find it. And I told him, I said, the funny part is you're probably not going to end up in any of those places that
Exactly.
you've liked.
Sure.
You're going to end up someplace else as kind of a great mix
One
of
of
the
those
two.
flyover states.
Yeah. Something
Night, Emma.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm headed out. Love y'all. Peace out, Chris, Ivan, and
Tiffany.
Yelena. Good to
Yeah.
go. Tiffany Taylor, what's going on, girl? How are you? This is Ivan, Tiffany, and Yelena. They're friends from the trucking industry, originally from Russia, live in here. Ivan and Yelena are both U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shut up for a second. Hey, Grammy Karen, how you doing, sister? It's family too. But I'm going to let Ivan and Yelena tell you a little bit about their backstory about how they got to the States.
Okay.
And if that's okay with you
Sure.
guys,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
because
that's good.
this will tell you where we're at. And I'm going to let them do that. And then when they're done telling you a little bit about their backstory, we are going to read scripture tonight, and it's going to be Proverbs 18. We're going to read the whole chapter, Proverbs 18. Hello, North Star Prepstetter. And it's over to you guys.
All right. So I'm Ivan. I was born originally in a country that not many of you may know. It's called Kazakhstan. If you watch Borat, you know it. But anyways, and my wife's.
If he comes out in a G-string in a little while, guys, I'm out here. I'm moving out of my own home. Sorry.
Yeah. Now.
And I am from Moldova. That's by Ukraine, Black Sea.
Yeah.
That's Europe.
Yeah. So I moved here with my whole family. I was just 12-year-old boy. when we moved here. We moved here back in 2003, and we were supposed to move here like in 2002, but because of 9/11, everything was postponed, obviously, and we only got here in 2003. But still, I'm thankful I'm here.
And
Yeah,
I came in 2007 in August, and it's been a while for now as I've been here.
yeah. Tomorrow is gonna be 17 years exactly
Actually,
as I am in
Oh,
United
yes.
States
Yeah.
of America.
yeah.
Now, one of the cool parts that you guys might, and it's not cool,
Mhm.
but it shows this. This is one of the things that people like Ivan and Yulana can share with you that nobody else really here can, and that is the fact of kind of the generosity of the United States as a whole,
Right.
because they both came here. What they didn't tell you on that part is they both came here on
Yes.
religious refugee passes.
Yes.
So they got brought here because they are Russian Baptist is the
Right.
denomination that they are.
Yes.
So they're Christians, and these both are Muslim countries are being taken over pretty much as Muslim countries, and
Yeah.
they were both
Yeah.
basically ran out of their
Yeah.
country.
So there is a combination of things actually.
Yes.
For Kazakhstan, it's mostly because of Muslims are taking over. On top of that, there is history of USSR that they were repressing Christians both in Kazakhstan and Moldova, because Moldova used to be USSR too.
Yes.
So
But
yeah,
in my country, in Moldova, it's more of religion because and work, because there's not much work, and in order to make good money, in order to sustain the family, people go to Italy, to Moscow, to other countries, and to America in order to survive, basically.
Right.
And that's my reason my family moved here.
You or me or
Mine.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, I think it just shows the core part of what this country is truly about,
Yeah.
and that's not like 30 years ago. These guys are 28 and 29 years old. This is something that's happening right now,
Mhm.
and where we're coming up. So, and all these young people that are talking about how horrible the United States is and how racist that we are and everything. And we've actually had some conversations about some trials and tribulations that they've had and will have.
Mhm.
You know, they're wanting to go to rural areas, wanting to go to a country setting that's not a city, where you
Right.
may not have a large Russian community. And what I've tried to explain and what we've talked about is that's where you have to go insert yourself into a community in a positive manner. And that's a good thing to talk about when we're doing this
Mhm.
is, you know, you go to a place, you go to find a nice campground, stay in a campground for 2 or 3 weeks, and you find out where everybody eats breakfast. And you go down and you sit in there and you say hello to everybody that morning. You're as friendly as you can be to everybody, and you get to know everybody. And at first, with them, with an accent, people are going to be intrigued, but then you're going to say Russia. And then if you've got a more democratic area,
Yeah.
oh, you know, the Trump supporters or something like that. So you have those preconceived notions with certain
Right.
things.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure you guys have dealt with that. But then once you know them and you understand where they're from and what they're
Yeah.
trying to do and what they're trying to achieve, it becomes a lot easier. So we're from Florida, me and
Yeah.
Scott No Name. Oh, Scott. No, oh, yeah. They're coming up here. Ashley and them are actually coming to the area, I think,
Okay.
this week or something to look at homes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like
So they're
after
looking
the-
to, yeah. So glad they are there visiting with you. Now, Grammy Karen is part of Stivers.
Okay.
There,
Okay.
she's one of the grandmas, one of Ray and White's grandmas. So,
Nice.
Jen's mom, I think.
Yeah.
If I hope I didn't flip that. Yeah, Jen's mom.
Okay.
And how to get that out? Find it. But they're in Kentucky.
Oh,
okay.
So
close
that's
by.
that's
Oh,
where
yeah.
they're at. Kentucky's one of the places they're looking at,
Yeah,
Grammy
that's one of
Karen.
the
Uh-huh.
states
So
we like.
one of the places they like.
Mhm.
Hey Cecilia, how are you? I saw you come in there a little bit ago, but
Mhm.
kind of got sidetracked with letting these guys talk. So the Blessed Homestead, what's going on? There's Ivan and wife. I remember you from the shindig.
Yeah, we've
Yay.
been there.
Yeah.
That's how we met him.
Yeah.
We were gonna shoot him. Me and Samson's farm and the polar
Oh.
bear, we were gonna knock him off because polar bear is a SF guy. If you guys don't know who I'm talking about, you'll see him pop in at times. And his Russians, he's not spoken Russian in so long. He just heard Ivan to kind of post up on UNICOI at the corner, and we've told the story 3 times since they've been here.
No.
Post up on the corner, and he was going to get something.
Right.
And so all of us 3 military guys were like, We got this covered.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he gives me a $400 camera. I felt about this big. Duncan, how are you? I saw your video today.
You can go on my English speaking channel and you can watch that video.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's completely shock.
Yeah.
It's complete shock. The look on my face is.
It's called giving away $400 camera to a random stranger.
Yeah.
We weren't quite random, but we were pretty random because
Yeah.
I didn't know who this guy was. We had talked, maybe 3 or 4 times through text
Yeah.
messages
Yes.
and
For
stuff.
that.
Yeah, and then here's the other kicker for when they made it to the shindig, guys. They were what, 400 miles away, 350 going through
Yeah,
Memphis.
when we saw your video, we're about 400 miles away and we're passing through it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we, thank God, that load that we had on our truck
We had extra time.
extra time. I think it was like 8 hours spare.
Yeah.
So we said, you know what? Let's do it.
Let's just
Yeah,
go.
we have time. Let's do it. And we're
So that's
passing
fun.
by. Why not?
Yeah, it was right on
Mama
time.
Z, how are
Yeah.
you? Hello, I have seen your guest in the shadows for a long time. Yeah, Grammy Karen. Like I said, they're regulars, so you guys see them in the chats. They come in here and
Yeah.
talk, but now you get to put a face
Yeah.
to
Right.
these guys if you don't watch their
Yeah.
channel. So that's awesome and get to go there. So let's take a break for a minute before we
Sure.
talk to these guys. I'm going to read a little scripture for you guys, and hopefully I might have to steal this light so that I can see for a minute, just because the angle. Because I'm a blind man. Oh, that ain't gonna work. But
You can
that
dim
might,
it a little.
but that might. Well, that right there will work. Maybe. Let's see.
There's a,
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
bright.
it's not gonna happen.
Maybe up there, like that.
There you go. That'll work.
Uh-huh.
And you guys get to see the pretty side of my face
Yeah.
just for a few minutes.
Finally, you guys.
Finally, there's not many pretty sides to this face. Let's see if I miss any questions. So we're going to read Proverbs 18 is what we're going to read tonight, guys. And we're reading Proverbs 18 because it's a wealth of knowledge. But not only is it a wealth of knowledge, but verse 24 says it all. So Proverbs 18. An unfriendly person pursues selfish ends, and against all odds, judgment starts quarrels. Fools find pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. When wickedness comes, so does contempt, and with shame comes reproach. The word of the mouth is deep waters, but the fountain of wisdom is a rushing stream. It is not good to be partial to the wicked, and so deprive the innocent of justice. The lips of fools bring them strife, and their mouths invite a beating. How honest is that? A lot of times, the words of gossip are like choice morals. They go down to the inmost parts. One who is slack in his work is brother to one who is destroyers. One who destroys. The name of the Lord is a fortified tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. The wealth of riches is fortified. The wealth of the rich is fortified city. They imagine it a wall too high to scale. Before a downfall, the heart is haughty. But humility comes before honor. To answer before listening, that is folly and shame. So think about that. To answer before you listen is faulty and shame. And that's we're all guilty of. We all are guilty of that one. Take that one to heart too, guys. The human spirit can endure in sickness, but a crushed spirit who can bear? That's true too. The heart of discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out. Let me read that one again. The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out. Read that one. If you don't understand, go do some research on it, because that might set your life in order in all the situations that you have. A gift opens the way and ushers the giver into the presence of the great. In a lawsuit, the first to speak seems right, until someone comes forward and cross-examines. That verse right there in Proverbs 18 answers a lot of things that are going on right now in this world, because when the lawsuit is mentioned in the Bible too, it's a discrepancy between two individuals. And right now we have a lot of discrepancies, and the first person to scream the loudest and scream the most gets heard, and everybody thinks they're right until someone has the guts or the moral fortitude to stand up and cross-examine them and ask them with knowledge of what's there. The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out. So those two play in perfect unison with each other. Casting the lot settles disputes and keeps strong opponents apart. A brother wronged is more unyielding than a fortified city. Disputes are like the barred gates of the citadel. From the fruit of their mouth, a person's stomach is filled. With the harvest of their lips, they are satisfied. That's another one to look in there and think about. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruits. So you have the power to build up your community, to build up one another, to build up those that you love, that you hate even. Build them up, give them the structure, give them what they need, and eat that good fruit. Or you can have the power of death by being able to just be very evilly discerning and looking and going through and making people, just tearing them down. And when you eat from that hatred, your soul's going to get eat up along with it. So remember that as well. He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. There you go, guys. You got to have that partner. For those men that are out there that are single like myself, I'm looking for that favor. I'm looking for that side by with the Lord. I'm looking for that ultimate gift that God gave to man, and that is a wife. And he made that a lot of people don't understand that there are certain things in this world that God only made for man, and woman is the number one. And it's the gift. It's something to be held in the highest of regards, and with the highest of honor, and the highest of pride, and the highest of respect. And it goes hand in hand. The poor plead for mercy, but the rich answer hastily. And then here's where we're going. Is 24. One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks. But there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Let me reread that. One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. So understand that, yes, you may have brothers and sisters. You may have ones that you love that are family, that are the same blood runs through your vein from your parents, but we're all brothers and sisters. And when you make friendships like we have, and you cultivate those from this community, you cultivate those from your surrounding community, those can be as strong as your brother. Those can be the relationships that see you through hard times, like Jessica Lyles having tonight, losing her husband at 38 years old to an ATV accident. So for those of you that are coming on right now, I'm asking for each one of you to take a minute and put Jessica Lyle and her husband on and family on your wall. Yeah. We know that Jessica's husband, if he lived a good, strong, solid Christian life, is in heaven. If he knew Jesus Christ, he's in a much better place. He's walking the streets of glory. And if you can, please say a prayer for Jessica and her family, because they're going to need that through this time. We know Jessica's a strong Christian woman. We've talked to her several times on here. She's an active member of this always. Freak accident. And, we just want to make sure as a community that we're staying strong and true to one another. Those of you guys that have come on here in the last few minutes, Christy Bates, how are you? Lundy, how are you? Jen, Kaylee, who else is on here that I've missed? Plain Speaker, what's going on, Chris? Yeah, I know. I'll find somebody someday. Somebody will find me. Might be rough there, Plain Speaker. Mama Z, how are you? He was in a ATV accident. So So we just want to make sure that we keep them in our prayers, and we understand that God has a plan for us, even when he's throwing us in the middle of the fire. When he's putting us in the forge, it's to make us a harder person. It's when we get out of it and he dips us into that that oil and quenches us and hardens us to that point and tempers us to where we need. Karen's Garden, how are you? Good to see you. Guys, we actually got seeds packaged today.
Yes.
They will be
Yeah.
going out Monday. As soon as I get back, they will be out. Boom, I got 36 packages
Or
packaged.
if you give us an address, please.
Well, I've got to go in and pay for everything and do everything
Oh.
that way and get all of it done.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we're going to go through and get all of that stuff done and get those sent out. They will be done. We got those together. So we're there. So yeah,
Yes.
Jessica is on here listening. She's in the background. She came on early and asked us to say prayers for her, and we're there. So if you're on the list, if I made contact with you and I reached out for you, I know there was a couple people that jumped the line and sent me money through snail mail. I'm going to go ahead and honor those and get those out of there. And then once I'm done with that, I will then see if I can do some more. We got to just go through and figure out where we're at. It's a lot of work, guys. A lot of work. I think that's supposed to be can't wait.
Yeah.
Can you tee something? So, all right. So what we're going to discuss tonight is these guys' situation. Not necessarily their personal situation, but the type of situation that they're in.
Right.
Can you tell me?
Oh, it's probably the next letter was right next to the enter button. And
I don't know.
Keeps hitting the enter.
Karen's Garden, I can tell you something. I don't know what I can tell you,
Just let me
but I
know
can tell you
what.
something.
What's after the T?
So what
Nope.
we're going to talk about just being in the situation where they are and setting yourself, and what do you do to be able to set yourself into a position to where you can take the time off if you're not sure where you want to be. A lot of us are already sure where we want to be, but how do you do that? And I'm going to bounce questions off of these guys. Now, they didn't know this. I told them we were going to talk about them, but I'm going to bounce some questions off of them, and we're going to discuss together on how do you set yourself up in the optimal position so that you can be able to achieve something when you're not getting older. I mean, I'm not old by any means, but when you get to an older age or you're waiting till retirement age to do this, how do you do it as a young couple that is in the prime? I mean, these guys are 28 and 29 years old. These guys are in their prime of their life. They have the ability to do that. They don't have children yet. I know they want them. Joanna was like 47. He wants like 112, but she says she's going to wait until the first one to see what it looks like, and then they're going to trade it in if it comes in the wrong way. So anyway, we're just having some fun with that. But we're going to bounce some questions off of these guys because they're in that age group, and find out kind of some of the steps. Yeah, and we'll shoot questions in the chat and go from there. But some of the things that I think you guys need to understand is, and I know this is personal. This is a personal one for these guys, but what I would say to that is, sacrifice.
Yes,
I mean, that's going to be my first kind of question to them is, what types of sacrifices have you guys had to make so that you can get an idea of what they're doing and what you have to do at this age level to be able to go on. And it's across the board, but especially when you're younger.
For us, we had a lot of things that were holding us in California and Sacramento in particular. For instance, church is big.
Yes.
For me, as soon as we came to US, I was 12, and then the next year I became a sound engineer, and for over 10 years I was a sound engineer. I had to abandon that. Then
I used to sing in a choir, play in orchestra, sing in another choir, like youth choir. I was part of church, like every Sunday or one of the Sundays we sing as a choir. but I had to give that up.
Yeah, we made a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
Some of you might think, "Oh, big church has sacrifice." No,
No.
we have church because Bible says, "Where it's 2 or 3 gathered in my name, I'll be there."
I'll be there. Yeah.
We're still in church.
What you guys got to realize is what they're talking about sacrifices is because of the sacrifice that they've taken
Yeah.
to work.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the part where they're saying personally is there. These guys decided we want by the time, and this is from one of our earliest conversations, we want to by our early 30s
Right.
Mhm.
be retired so that we don't have to work
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
on a steady.
Yeah.
We can work on their own level from providing from the homestead or from a side business
Yeah, we
or a
want to
hustle.
live from the dirt.
Right. Go back to what God has intended
Right.
us to do.
Yeah.
So through that, they're sacrificing some of those things. They both have been very active young people in
Mhm.
the church and choir and
Yeah.
electronics and doing those things. But they've chosen to take that church for the quality of what it is now. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, so stop me
Yeah.
if I do.
Yeah.
But they want to take that and understood that, you know what, the church is not a building. The
Mhm.
church is people. And by going into trucking, as long as we surround ourselves with the correct people, the correct
Exactly.
church,
Right. Yes.
it's going to afford you the opportunity
Exactly.
to make more income. And
Right.
what they've done is Ivan started trucking first,
Yes.
and he started doing everything. And then the time separated between the
Yeah.
two of them was hard. So then they
Oh,
said,
yeah.
okay, let's all pile into one truck. Let's get you certified, double our income, and go. And now the sacrifice is we've been doing this for 6 or 7 years. We're driving 11 hours. I'm going to the back to sleep. She's jumping up front and driving for 11 hours,
Yeah.
and they're never stopped to rest. As
Oh,
far
yeah.
as family, as far as being able to lay in a bed together, as far as to be able to take that time
Yeah.
together, and that's not in a
Sure.
sexual aspect. That's just part of being in a relationship
Yeah.
and being
Yeah.
loved. They've been separated, even though it's only been by 3 or 4 feet. So when we talk about the sacrifices that we make as adults, and we talk about sacrifices that we make as family when our husband's in the military or something
Yeah.
like that, you're talking about long distance separation. These guys were literally separated by an arm length and still separated because of what they were having to do to survive through work. But that sacrifice for the last 6 or 7 years has now put them in a point where they can take a year.
Yeah.
They're taking a year
I'll say what.
and going.
You don't need much money saved up
Oh, yeah,
to
you
do
don't.
what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Because in 2018, we did the same thing for 6 months with
Yeah.
only $700 in the pocket
That's all we had.
and a car. That's
And
it.
car. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we did
That's
for
all.
six,
Yeah.
6.5 months.
Live,
Yeah.
grow, roar. But here's the thing, and I think they would tell
Oh,
you this.
age is not a limit.
No,
Well,
it's not.
he's live, grow, roar, saying that's his plan is too, but he's in his
Yeah.
30s now.
Okay.
You're still in your prime too,
Yeah.
live, grow, roar.
Yeah.
And the thing what they made the decision to do was we're just doing. Hey, Tinker, as well is that we're just doing it. That is
Yeah.
the key to all this, guys.
Yeah, first
we're
step is
doing it.
start.
You just got to do it. So with them, and I'm going to ask a different question in a second, but with them right now, they're traveling, trying to figure out where that place is. They
Mhm.
visited certain
Right.
places and got that view of, oh, I kind of like this. I like this geographical area. I
Mhm.
like the
Yeah.
weather in this area.
Yeah.
But now they're going to look and see, do I like these people in this area? Do I like this land in this area?
Yeah.
Is this land going to facilitate me to grow the food that is going to sustain my family that
Mhm.
we enjoy? Because you're no reason to go to a place that can't grow you the food that you enjoy when you're trying to be self-sufficient from the land.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That would be a good how-to for Ivan. Not
Yeah.
sure they already have that video.
Well-
Yeah. So that's, and I'm sure that they could do that. A lot of your videos on the Russian channel are trucking videos, correct?
Yes. All of my videos are actually, no matter what channel it is, Russian or English. English channel I haven't touched for over a year because I didn't have much growth
Well,
in
you
there.
might have to now.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see.
They're
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
at
if I see a lot of subs right now, I will.
Uh-huh.
see, they've got 500 and I think it was 80,
500 on Russian,
Yeah.
501 on Russian.
501 and 180 something on the
Yeah.
American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
So,
can see it's,
Yeah.
we concentrate on Russian more than English.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's because that's their
Oh,
native
thank
tongue.
you.
That's
Oh,
the people
thank
that are there.
you.
So
Just up back to roots.
hey, thanks
Yay.
back to Rootstead. They're great people too.
Yeah.
We met
Okay.
them. So what the next thing is we've kind of know that you've sacrificed, the church that you were in, the building, not the
Mhm.
church in
Right.
itself, but the building. We know you've sacrificed time with your family and stuff.
Mhm.
What kind of sacrifices have you guys made between you guys being a young couple? Because you guys have been married for a while. You guys have been married for how long?
8 years.
8 years. So now, what kind of sacrifices, or I don't even want to say as sacrifices between your relationship, but I want to say postponements or things that you guys have chosen while you've been looking for that, and not to put you on the spot, and I'm not meaning
Yeah.
like you've chosen not to have children at this
Right.
point in time. I'm saying, what are some of the things that you guys have had that you said, okay,
Biggest
we want to
one
push this off to get to this
biggest
dream?
one is actually relationship with relatives.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
the biggest one, because when you're hunting for a new place,
Yeah.
you have to leave it behind you in a way. You miss their birthdays, celebrations, weddings, and all of that stuff. They want you to. Sometimes we get there, sometimes we do
Sometimes
not.
we don't. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time we do not. And that's one of the biggest. And we're losing touch with our cousins, with our friends, and
Post your link for the English channel. One
yeah.
second.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so that's what we're talking about
Mhm.
is, if you want to do this early, first
Mhm.
and foremost, I think they'll both tell you this. They're both Dave Ramsey students too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is don't go in debt.
Don't-
If you're
Yeah.
young,
don't go
or even
there.
if you're like your 30, 40s, like live, grow, roar. If you're into that, don't go into debt. Don't go
No.
buy a $40,000 vehicle. Here, hey, I'm going to share this with you personally because I think it's amazing. These guys just drove from California in a $1,300 vehicle that he put $400 in doing work himself, and a
Yeah.
$1,300 4x6 trailer.
Yeah.
If anybody has a 5x8 trailer, enclosed trailer,
Yeah. We can
that
trade.
they're
trade.
looking for a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
bigger
5-year
trailer.
California registration prepaid.
Yep.
Yeah, they're looking for a
Yeah.
little bit bigger trailer for what they're doing because they want to
Right.
set up a little kitchen in there.
Yeah.
This woman has more thread than Jason from Robin from Big Bear Homestead.
Yeah.
She would give her a run for her money.
Oh yeah.
She loves the knit stuff.
I
So
love
they're
it,
just looking
yeah.
for a little more space. So if anybody that's around this area or on their travels has a larger 5x8 trailer or
Yeah.
something, interested in trading down size,
Enclosed trailer.
they'd be
Yeah.
interested in trading up. It's a nice trailer too. It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
a California trailer, so it has no rust, no rot in it.
Yeah.
And they just ordered new tires for it.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
coming
See,
in.
both tires are new.
Oh yeah. It's in
Yeah.
perfect shape
So
after Ivan fixed
if
up all
anybody has
Brand
any,
new LED lights, everything.
if anybody's got a good shape enclosed, 5x8 type trailer,
Mhm.
there you go. They already got you.
Oh, gotcha.
Yay.
They Duncan 1900 North Star
Yeah,
Prep
thank you.
Standard are on the money. So if you know anybody or have something like that you would be interested in trading down for a small, this trailer that they have
Mhm.
would be great for like you want to do craft shows and you're going and you're on your own, like a single person doing that, or you want to do, I think, a window washing. That's what you said
Yeah,
it came
it
from.
used to be a window washing trailer.
Yeah,
for
window
someone.
washing
Yeah.
trailer, or you wanted to be able to haul. You couldn't really haul a motorcycle in it because it's too small.
So the trailer maximum weight allowed to be on an axle is 2,000 pounds. It has 2-inch ball. So with that said, the payload is approximately 1,500 pounds.
Yeah,
about
so
it.
so it's good for like doing your
Yeah.
crafts and hobbies and stuff like that. Lundy and them just subbed you guys
Nice.
to
Thank you.
Yay,
This
thank
is his
you.
wife and him and Jen.
Mm.
Lundy is the one that's got all the alternative energy patents
Oh,
and all that. That
Nice.
helps me with the.
I want to meet
with the
you.
stuff. Yeah, now they're in Kentucky as well.
Oh, they
Oh,
are?
okay.
So you might
we're nearby.
I might get you on a pass by. It might
Yeah.
only be a night or two because I
Sure.
know Lundy is traveling right
Yeah.
now, and
Uh-huh.
he is installing all the solar systems on all the Native
Oh,
American.
that's-
Well,
he
he's
likes
doing all the
solar,
Native
like
American
multi-solar.
projects.
Okay.
So for all of them
Nice.
that are doing these big solar farms and stuff and doing their homes, he's the one that's
Cool.
installing
Nice.
and doing all those.
Hey, get me a 1099 for a day.
He
knows what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are some of the basic sacrifices that you're going to lose and that you need to do. Is you got to understand that it takes work, it takes preparation, and it takes a lack of debt to be able to do the things that they're doing. And you have to be able to get there and figure that out. And it's different for each person. If you have kids, there's certain things you need to do to get there.
It's a Russian
Uh,
phone. Extended phone.
Yeah.
A Russian.
Okay.
Extended. Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I think it says R. It should be
Yeah.
R, not A.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
the tinker's wife, if I don't know how you can have best friends like that, because I would weigh 600
like,
pounds.
Did you eat him?
Six. No, I'm talking about just the food this woman cooks, and we've
Oh,
been
yeah.
going because I
Oh,
love
yeah,
to
it's
cook
very
too.
Mhm.
We've been cooking up some food,
Mhm.
so it's
Well,
been fun.
The other thing I want to say, when come to sacrifice, when he started, like people used to say, "How can you let him go? You
Yeah.
don't know." I mean, you don't ever know where he is. I mean, I kind of knew where he is, and I was everything. Like I was asking, "Send me picture from this. Send me picture this." It's like it's all the same, and I was like, "How is possible? It's
Mhm.
not possible." But then when I joined him, year later, I understood what he meant by that.
Yeah, because
60 mile an hour.
all we see is the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the road up and down or snake
Mhm.
road,
Yeah.
but road and sky.
Yeah.
So their plan now is to get through Class A for
For the
Ivan.
next 2
At
years.
least for
Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
and then I'll get that.
Right. And the reason for that is by him getting to Class A, it
Mhm.
will give them the opportunity for her to go to a clerical side of stuff, still ride with him as a pastor
Yeah.
and stuff
Mhm.
because she
Yeah.
has a license,
Yeah.
but she can ride with him and do stuff of that nature. But by going to Class A, he increases his pay by
Oh yeah.
30 to 40%, which is
Oh,
most of
yes.
what she would be making as well.
Mhm.
But now they get that time where they're driving 8 hours and then they get a rest.
Yeah,
They get a rest
I will
together.
drive 11 hours and we'll stop for 10
Yeah.
hours.
Well,
I
Instead
will
of
not be sleeping those 10 hours in rocking truck.
yeah,
I'll be
Right.
in the
stopped
movement.
and in calm situation.
Well, the other thing, when it comes to comparing Class B, expedited, and Class A, it's so different.
Yeah,
things.
it's all
What's
different
happening.
fields.
It's all different. It can
Yeah,
be.
you cannot compare trucking
Yeah. Mm-mm.
to trucking. They're all way different.
Yes.
No, it's not like Bulgarian food. So let me
It's close, but no.
let me explain to you my
Yeah. The way you
interpretation.
understand.
My
Uh-huh.
interpretation for me to American food to Russian food.
Mhm.
Russian food is very, very hearty.
Mhm.
Sure.
So the spicing palette, like if you like a very spicy or very different flavorful foods like sages
Mhm.
and peppers and
Mhm.
that's not the baseline for what you
Yeah,
have. It's
No.
more onion, garlic, salt, pepper
yeah,
on
it's all basic.
on your basic food
Yes.
across the board, but used to perfection.
Yes.
So you're getting the natural flavors of food. It's not bland at all.
Mhm.
And then you go in and they use sauces, so mayonnaise or spicy
Yeah, on the
mayonnaise,
side, yeah.
and you use it as a dipping.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then on the desserts, guys, I've been a fan of Russian desserts forever. French and Russian pastries are the two best pastries
Mhm.
you'll eat from anywhere in the world.
Oh,
I think as
next thing
far
is
as the
pastries.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the cakes and stuff are now the cakes and stuff are a lot more dense than like a French pastry or an American pastry. And I'm talking from a culinary aspect. Like I was explaining, what she calls an apple pie
Mhm.
is more of like a bread pudding, what we would describe as a bread pudding. It's almost you cook it in a spring pan like a cheesecake.
Yeah.
Whereas we would cook apple pie
Mhm.
would be the crust, the apples in the middle, and then a crust.
Mhm.
That's a pie for where there it's more solid. You don't
Yeah.
have that liquidified
Yeah.
apple there, but it's awesome. So the
So-
neighbor Steven, who's watching this right now, I know he is. Happy birthday, Steven.
Oh yes.
His birthday was yesterday, and we went out
Yes.
the night before
Uh-huh.
at like 11 o'clock, and we put balloons all over his truck. We
did,
put
yes.
banners all over his truck. We filled the truck bed up with
Uh-huh.
balloons, put a present on it, and then the next day for his actual birthday, we made food, and Yolanda made that cake, and it's
Yeah.
awesome. So
I hope
the
he liked it.
the food,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sure he did. We
Hey,
just
write it here. If
Yeah,
you're
if he
here.
did.
Yeah.
If you're here, yeah.
yeah, he usually won't
Yeah.
comment because he's
Ah.
watching on his big screen
I
TV.
see.
Oh, I see.
And so that's how he'll be doing it.
Glad
Look,
to
the
see.
only
She
thing I
Bear.
liked in
Hey, She
Bulgaria, yeah, Sheberg Acres, what's going on? Diana Village, how's going on? The only thing I liked in Bulgaria was their fresh chicken, their roasted potatoes, and their signature salad, the one with the awesome cheese. The cheese, I'm a cheese guy too. As long as
Yeah.
it's not blue cheese, I'm down.
Hey, Tinker's wife, look up in your neighborhood if you see European market, European store, or just type in
international
Russian store.
Russian store.
They have the Russian pickles and tomatoes,
Tomatoes.
dill
Yeah.
pickles and tomatoes.
There's many.
Yeah, there's many kinds.
Yeah.
And you'll find some more in there. So.
Russian and German food both are just very hearty
Mhm.
country food. If you live in the South, if you live in Northeast Tennessee, North Carolina, Kentucky, the food is not much different. The only thing different that we do is we add a little more spices to stuff, like in our sausages and stuff. We'll add more sage or
Mhm.
pepper flakes or something. And you guys aren't doing that. You might add there's flavoring in it,
Like for
but
the
it's not
meat, for
it's not the same.
instance, we don't add as much of things. We like mostly salt stuff,
For lack of better words,
like
meat and
barbecue,
potato.
for instance, or steaks or anything like that. I would add maybe a lemon juice a little bit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
salt and pepper. That's it.
Yeah. But that's not saying, like the other night when we made the
Dumpling.
the
Piroshki.
pierogi. When we made the pierogi and I was like, I got something I think would be great. And I made a homemade tzatziki sauce with mayonnaise instead of yogurt because I didn't want it to be as sour. And we ate it real good.
Oh,
But then Ivan, he likes it because it's something that he relates to his family and he wants it a certain way. It's not that he didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's just he preferred it the other way.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, I'm always wanting to infuse other things. Like it just simply infusing the venison and the wild hog meat into these was amazing. Hey, Mo Homesteading, how are you?
Yeah, Russian
Yes,
food is
but
awesome.
we did have another cutting to do. Okay, she's talking to you. Y'all are making me hungry. Tiffany, I've stayed hungry and gained 15
Come over
pounds.
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Mo Homestead says hi, Chris. She is on her live also and said sorry that it happened. No, you tell Mo Homestead hi, and if we could pop over there right now while I was on the live, we'd go over and say hi too.
Yeah.
So
high five over there.
High five.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're doing. So we're just talking about how you can get to these points in life. And guys, you got to understand what debt means. And that's a big part in this. And the Dave Ramsey thing helps you out a ton. You got to understand what types of debt there are. You have to understand what is when you're young, that is the time not to get in debt because then you start working for the man. You start working for the establishment to get yourself through. So when you go in and you're looking, they have two Russian markets close to there. When you start looking at that, you have to look at stuff. Now, that's not saying that you might not have to go into debt a little bit, but what you should try to do is never have to and sacrifice early with certain things to get to where you're wanting.
Another thing, when you sacrifice early, you know how much it actually costs for what you have.
Right.
And when you have your own kids, you'll teach that to your kids.
Right.
Our parents sacrificed a lot.
Oh yes.
They sacrificed their careers. They sacrificed their livelihood back in our countries to get us in better place. But we're going back to farming. So anyways.
Yeah. No, but that's fine. But you're going back
for
to
them. That's for them.
But you're going back to farming.
Right.
To be self-sufficient.
Yes.
With the knowledge and the security of being
they
able
went
to
into homesteading and farming because they had necessity.
Right.
Yeah.
For us, it's because we want to.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
So one of the other things you have to look at when you're talking about this is ways that you keep yourself from going into debt. So the $40,000 car, that's a big one. Buying a home when you're young. Yes, it's awesome if you can buy one, but save your money and buy it outright.
Yeah.
Buy a piece of property and build a home over the next 20 years, or build a home. Stay at home as long as you can. If you can stay at home and save money and still help out your family, you're helping your family and you're pursuing your dream. And the other thing is, and this is one of the big ones that people don't realize, if you're a coffee drinker, buy good coffee and make good coffee at home. Don't spend $10 on it. If you're a smoker, don't buy damn cigarettes. Excuse my language. You're talking about hundreds of dollars a month. If you're a drinker, get rid of it. It's only going to slow you down in life. And I'm not against drinking. I'll have a drink.
Here's what you can do. Let's say you have addiction, smoking. Let's take for a case. The thing that these people really need is that satisfaction from smoking. What can you replace that with? Get a jar. Anytime you want to buy cigarettes, instead of buying cigarettes, put that cash in a jar.
Oh yeah.
And look at it. Look how much I saved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's your home.
And
Yes.
save it like
That jars your
for a
home.
vacation,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
something
Well,
you dreamed of
well,
for a
Yeah.
long time.
here's the thing. Let me ask you this, and I know it's hard because the human body needs a break. Okay, so if you're looking at that, yeah, $400 a month they save just quitting smoking.
Nice.
All right,
Nice.
so
That's
let's.
cool.
The human body needs a vacation. Okay, so let's say that you have 2 weeks a year you have to take at your job. So instead of going to the Caribbean or going someplace, go camping, go out
Mhm.
someplace where you can spend $150, $200, and you have a great
In
time,
gas and nothing
and
else.
and food, maybe a
Yeah.
little bit of extra
Yeah.
different food,
Mhm.
and do that. Okay, and then quit. If you quit smoking and you fill that jar like Ivan was saying, and you look at that in that 5 years, guess what you're going to be able to do at $400 a month quitting smoking. We're just using the actual example here that
Mhm.
Mama Z
Mhm.
gave us. $400 a month times 12 is $4,800 a
Oh,
year.
yes.
In 5 years, you more than have a down payment for a small piece of property for your
Mhm.
homestead.
Mhm.
You're buying a piece of property for your homestead
Yeah.
just by not smoking.
It's not that you don't
No.
have money. You have it. You just
You're
send it the
spending it on
wrong
the
way.
you're just spending it on dumb stuff. So if you take
Oh,
that and
yeah.
you take what's magnify this, $400 a month on cigarettes. Let's go conservative, and you're not a coffee alcoholic like me.
Mhm.
Let's say $150 a month on coffee because you're going out and buying
Mhm.
it instead of buying, and you can buy good coffee and stuff. All right, now let's throw in drinking, and let's say you spend $100 a week when you go to the bar on the weekends with your friends. By the time you're done with that, in 5 years, that's 50 grand,
Mhm.
You can do a
over
lot
$50,000.
with that money.
And for most everybody here, you're not wanting to be in the city.
Mhm.
So you're not spending stinking 500. Get out of California. If
Oh.
you're going someplace
Oh,
where
yeah.
an acre of property is costing you $150,000,
Mm-mm.
get out,
Get out
leave.
there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't take your politics with you. And we've had this conversation,
Yeah.
and we've
Yeah.
had this conversation in like way, like we're talking about his trailer.
Mhm.
His trailer in California might be a $1,300 trailer.
Yeah.
That same trailer in Tennessee might be a $750 trailer. But $1,300 in California in value on that trailer is not going to get him as far as $750 here in Tennessee.
Right.
Because $750 in Tennessee will rent you a very nice, in this area, will rent you a very nice apartment
Mhm.
and probably pay a utility.
Mhm.
Very nice. In California, what's $1,300 going to rent you?
Studio.
A week in a hotel? I mean,
Probably.
a studio, but I mean, that's the difference.
Yeah.
So that's where you have to kind of think when you live in different places
Mhm.
is one, you have to not get insulted when people offer you less for what you have
Mhm.
because you're in a different area.
Mhm.
But you also have to think, okay, if I can save $40,000 or $50,000 living in California at this rate and this height of this income and this tax bracket, what can I save if I go buy a $5,000 piece of land for 5 years in someplace else and work the same money? Especially doing a profession like they are. So if they were living someplace where the cost of living, which they didn't have a cost of living, because I'm going to go in, let me go into this. Can I give some of your information?
Sure. Sure.
All right.
Sure.
So these guys don't have a home.
Yeah.
They don't have an apartment.
Mhm.
Their cars are completely paid for because, like
Yeah.
I said a minute ago, they have
Mhm.
$1,400
Mhm.
cars that he has the knowledge enough to work on. And this lady could probably fix
I
if she
do
needed
not
to.
have a knowledge enough to
You
work.
have the
But I'm not afraid to
you have
get
the
my hands
common
dirty.
sense. You have
Yeah.
the common
No,
sense enough.
I actually use
to-
my brother to help me.
Right.
So.
And he has a brother that's a mechanic, so that
Yeah.
helps too. But they don't have a car payment.
Yeah.
So their bills consist of insurances
And
and
cell
food
phone,
and food.
cell phone bill.
Cell phone and phone.
But you're writing that off for business. The
Right.
cost and part
Right.
of it.
While we're in
Because
business,
it's
yeah,
all
we write it
because
off.
it's all part of the hauling thing.
Mhm.
So you have to use what we've been given, even if we don't like all of it, you got to use that. So those sacrifices are not just there because I think these guys would love to have a
Mhm.
home. They would love to
yeah.
have that place to be,
Sure.
but they made that sacrifice to say, hey, look, we're driving anyway.
Mhm.
And if we continue to drive as a team
Right.
and we're going out here and we're knocking this thing out of the park, we can work for 5 to 10 years. We can enjoy each other's company. We can, if we decide we want to take 5 weeks off in South Dakota and go stay at Snake River or whatever the hell where it is, they can take off and go over there and do that. You will just be burning your money. Yeah, just burning
you're burning
your money.
it anyways.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you got to be able to go through and figure out. When you start going through and you figure out those ways where you can save money in your individual
For those
life.
who want to figure out what's wrong with their finances, get the app called Every Dollar and log every single expense.
30 days. Do it for 30. It's hard to do.
Do it for 90.
Well, what I'm saying though is you'll see it in 30 days.
In 30 days you'll start seeing it.
At least for 30 days it will give you
30 days just to start to see what your month looks like.
Right.
But do it for 90. It'll draw you a big picture.
Oh yes.
And you'll see like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's very simple to talk about what we're doing. It's very, very hard. All right, so let's take it away from the addictive stuff. Let's take it away from. Let's see where we can save some. Hey Joe, what's going on? So let's take it away from. Let's take it away from the simple stuff. Okay. We talk about prepping and things that we need to have and things we need to buy. Okay. We need to have so much food put back. These guys are not in a position where they're putting a lot of food back because they're living out of a truck. So you need to have so many bullets. You need to have so many guns. So what we have to do, as I'm speaking personally here for myself, is now I've got to look and say, okay, how much is enough? Like my word is I never have enough ammo and I'll never have enough guns. But to build this house that I'm sitting in right now, I had to make a conscious decision that instead of spending money on every gun that I liked, that I had enough guns to produce what I needed to do to be self-sufficient with meat, to protect my family, and have enough ammo to be able to do that for at least 4 or 5 years without anything. And I've got more than that. But when we're talking about doing that, that increased my wealth by a great deal. Guns are a good investment.
Yes.
But at the same point in time, when you're trying to build a home or a homestead, you don't need to be out here spending $1,000 to $1,200 a month. Somebody just ordered something off. Whoever just ordered something off of my Amazon list, thank you very much. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna go check it out in a minute. But that's a great thing. Being able to do something like a YouTube channel where you have wealth within yourself, and that's the key.
Yes.
This is your wealth. This knowledge that you put in this toolbox is your wealth. We need to understand that when you go into debt, what you are doing is you're selling your personal wealth. And what I mean by that is my time is worth something. Your time is worth something. Ivan's time is worth something.
Just put a number on it.
I never want to take his wealth from him without returning him with the portion of my wealth. So as friendships, as a society in which what we need to be at, in an open market and a commerce of what America is supposed to be at, that's what we're supposed to do in a free market. Is Ivan's coming and staying. He's hosted in my house right now. We take care of each other. And then I'm going to leave for 4 days. Okay. Now they have a place that they're staying. It's not costing them a dime. They'd have a place if I was here too. But now they've got a place to where there's nobody else here messing with them. There's not a 7-year-old stuck up ELYN's nose every 5 seconds. They've got some time to where they're not in a truck. And if they came to Northeast Tennessee and took a vacation for a week, it cost them $1,500. So through them being here, it gives me wealth because now I can go off and do something that I need to do to provide for my family. It gives them wealth because now they have that reprieve and they have a place to stay and they can sit here. They know my pantries are open, eat what you want to eat, do what you want to do, feed my animals for me is all I ask for. And then when I return, whatever I harvest, they're going to get some of. So if that be canning, and then they're going to get the knowledge of how to can all this stuff and how to process this meat and do these things. So investing in oneself investing in one another
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
true wealth of what community
Yes.
is supposed to
True.
be.
Yeah.
And-
Russian saying says, "Don't have $100, have 100 friends."
Friends.
And he said that to me earlier.
Yeah.
And that is what this is here, guys,
Yes.
on this YouTube channel, is this is a wealth.
Mhm.
This is, we are all rich that are on here because we're all sharing knowledge.
Mhm.
Everybody on here, uh, Ivan and his wife, greetings to you from Mexico.
Oh,
Hello.
Joe is
Oh, wow.
awesome, but we're sharing this knowledge between each other, and we're going on and we're investing in ourselves instead of investing in a job. Okay,
Yeah.
because if you're going into debt, all right, if you're making $60,000 a year, okay, that's a lot of money.
Mhm.
In most every place you go, $60,000 is still a good income.
Mhm.
If you're making $60,000 a year, but you're living in a place where you're having to spend $250,000 to $300,000 on a home,
Doesn't make sense.
you're not investing. You're not investing in yourself or your community. You're investing in someone else, because the banker is looking at it simply like this: if I can get you to make it 5 years in that home, they don't care if you lose it, because you've already paid what they have in it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You've already paid off by that amount of money that you're doing, and they've made their money, so they can take and hold that house or sell that house or flip that house or what they want to do. So, Farm Smith, how are you? When you look at that, that is something that people miss. You don't need to spend. You need to look at a 10-year window or even a 5-year window at that,
Mhm.
and you need to go, okay, if I'm making, and this is if you're living in an apartment or a
Yeah.
house. If I'm making, what's for simplicity, I'm making $50,000 a year.
Mhm.
25% of that income needs to go for housing. Okay. So now I've made 25,000, or I've made $12,500.
Mhm.
Would that be right? Yeah, $12,500
Mhm.
per year for 5 years. Okay. So for 5 years, $12,500 is going to be 50, 20, 40, 60, 60, about $65,000. That's the home you need to be
Yeah.
looking for, because you can get yourself into a position doing what we're talking about tonight where you've got $60,000.
Mhm.
Now, I'm telling you, if you are smart, you're probably not going to end up with 20 or 30 acres in this area. You might out west someplace, and it's not going to be as good fertile soil. But for
Mhm.
$30,000, you should be able to buy 5 acres. And then that leaves you 30 something $1,000 to build something yourself or to buy a trailer to live in for another 5 years and go.
Read the last message.
The last one,
Yeah.
driving up near Denver, I saw a billboard advertising new subdivisions, new homes starting in the high 400s. Almost drove off the road. Hey, hey, you come up here and go to North Carolina and go to Eagles Nest, where the lots are running you $400,000, and they're on the side of a mountain like this, where you literally have to build stilts and build your home out on stilts. You have no yard.
Oh.
You literally are walking down the side of a mountain to get to your place,
Right.
and the lots, an acre lot is running you $300,000 or $400,000. Absolutely insanity.
Yeah.
It's real bad out here in Central Oregon for housing. We got lucky to get in right before it went really high.
Yeah.
Guys, but here's what you
Yeah.
have to remember, and I know there's certain things that keep you in areas, and it's a lot of time it's family and where you were raised. But if you want those things to change, you have to take part in changing them. And if that be by leaving that area, if everybody if you love an area and you leave it and you go someplace and you do something, when you are looking at that and they lose that income and nobody's replacing you because the taxes are so high. We were just talking today, my friend Sheila, who's probably watching now too, she's in California, and she was texting me and telling me that they're doing something where you don't have to pay certain parts of taxes this year, but California has decided that they're going to waive that, but you have to pay them back next year, and they're charging 12% interest.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm at
Crazy.
51 to 52% of my income in taxes, I defer a year and I add 12% on top of that. How do you pay 120 some percent of taxes?
Yeah.
This is
Guys, it's impossible.
this is impossible.
You can't, you will be working for $0
Exactly.
and then owing them.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get out of these places that are
Yeah.
like that.
Oh,
You
you
can't get
have
there.
If you're in California, New York,
Illinois,
or Illinois,
Indiana,
get out.
just run from those
Yeah.
states. Don't be there.
And I understand
live
because
there.
San Francisco
Oh,
and
it's
down at
killing
the San
everything.
Francisco at the Fisherman's Wharf, those places you cannot beat the weather in Southern California,
True.
and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yes.
But
true.
guess what? It's the people that have killed it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now Northern California and Oregon and all those places are burning down,
Oh,
and they don't have the financial stability to go in and fix them.
yeah, it's only good to
Yeah.
How do you not have, as a state, let's go Washington, Oregon, California.
Mhm.
How do you not financially, as a state, have the money to help out and do what you need to do overall when you have a 50+% tax overall?
I know.
How is that possible? And you have the largest
Homeless.
group of employed people anywhere.
Yeah.
It's because you're not being financially secure in your money as a state.
It's also where the money goes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're not
Yeah.
being financially secure in where your
No,
money
it just
is.
goes in their own pockets. And
Well, it goes in
yeah.
their own pockets. It goes to welfare programs. It goes to things that's not there. And welfare is a good thing
Oh,
when it
welfare
comes from
needs a
individual.
timeout.
Well, welfare is meant to come, and that's the only time when you ever hear in history, because when you hear separation of church and state, that's not a constitutional thing. That's a
Right.
statement
Yeah.
when you're talking about there. But the reason that you have that comment of separation of church and state is because people are supposed to be welfare. Loving, God-fearing, moral people
Mhm.
Right.
are not going to let a family starve.
Right.
We're not going to do it.
Oh yeah. When I was still doing audio video in church, we had two buildings. We called them old building, new building, or new church, old church,
Yeah.
and things like that.
Mhm.
So I was doing audio video at the old church building. Now, one day we get a couple come in with Oregon plates, and they're asking for help. They're like, "We are struggling. We have no gas. We don't know where to stay." I'm like, "Okay, sure, we can help. Absolutely."
Absolutely, no problem.
So I called the new church building, and I say, "Hey, we have people who need help. We have special department just for that."
just for that.
And secretary connects me with that department, with the person responsible in that department. I'm like, "Hey, these people with Oregon plates, they're here at the old church. They need some help."
Mhm.
And he's like, "So Oregon plate, they also have a child." Yeah. "Oh, they just been at the new church. We just had him. We gave him a hotel for a week.
Mhm.
We fueled their tank and give them a gift card for AM PM, so they can fuel once more, so they can get that rest and get back on the road."
Yeah.
So what
Playing
is
the-
that?
What
Playing the
happened
system,
there?
and they
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Diana, you know I love you, Diana Vilgas. You know I love you and stuff. And here's what I want to talk to you about when you have a situation like Diana does, where you have a parent or something that's in that level where you're not leaving an area because of your parent, because they're elderly, because they've lived in that area, because of whatever else. So here's what I want to say. At some point in time, there needs to be a conversation with that parent, and they need to understand and they need to look at it, because if they are a parent, they should understand this already.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much they love someplace,
Oh, yeah.
then it doesn't matter who their doctor is, and it
Yes.
doesn't matter what that is. When you're literally strangling your family and your children
Yeah.
physically, emotionally, and
Mhm.
financially because of your attachment to a state, then it's not there. Cough, cough, cough. Democrats, cough, cough, cough.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about that, I mean, that's a
know.
serious conversation that I think if you sat down with most parents, even
Yeah.
elderly parents and stuff, that you have to go. Now, I understand if a parent is in a nursing home
Right.
or in a position where you can't move them physically.
Mhm.
Hey,
That's a different.
Call
That's a
us.
different.
We'll move him.
Well, it comes into a difference
Right,
where
I
it
get it.
may actually
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
a situation where you
Yeah.
can't do it at all.
I'm a
But-
first aid certified. I can transport people.
Yeah,
No, Farmstead Smith, I don't think he was getting at it just being Oregon plates. I think he was just using that in the
As a piece
example.
of detail.
That was one of the details in
Yeah.
there. I
Yeah.
don't think it had anything to do
Yeah.
with Oregon
Yeah.
plates,
Nothing.
because
It
we've
was
had.
just easy to
Is the
explain to
story.
over the phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
But But I let me think here how to put this, because I don't want to put it, because I'm talking about personal and family. But when you've got family members that have mental issues, um, that need to be addressed, but they're not addressing them. I You have to be, or addiction.
Mm-hmm.
All of this stuff comes into play. Now it's different when you talk about parents and you talk about, health issues, and they have to live in a certain environment.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still, like, if you're in California and your parents need a certain climate to live in, go to freaking Arizona.
Yeah.
You can buy property in Arizona
yeah.
and live
It's
wonderfully
not
in
far.
Arizona.
It's neighbor
North
state.
Arizona is
And-
awesome.
And it's
Yeah.
free. It's a free state. It's somewhere where you can make a living,
Mhm.
and you're not getting beat up and beat down all the time with taxes
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything else.
Or
Still get the vibes.
north of Vegas in Nevada.
Nevada.
Also
Yeah.
amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, you just step away from Nevada like 30 to 40 miles and you're perfect.
Yeah.
It's a good climate. Good everything.
Tinker's wife say, being married to a dreamer left us chained to this house. I am grateful I will be out of debt when I move.
Oh,
But
congrats.
Yeah.
you made yourself to a point, Tinker's wife,
Yes.
where you now are making some decisions and doing some
Right.
things that are benefiting you,
Yeah.
benefiting your family. And I know you loved him and all that, but
Mhm.
it's one of their, you got to have dreams. The thing is, what you have to do is you have to make a choice to make a dream happen.
Mhm.
Right.
And to make a dream happen, there's sacrifice and there's
Mhm.
intelligence that go in that. And a lot of times, no matter how much book smart you have, and
Mhm.
I'll say wisdom, I won't say
Mhm.
intelligence, I'll say wisdom. And a lot of times, what you don't have is you have very intelligent people that
Mhm.
have no wisdom. So when you get to that point, what you have to do is, you can't fight for it, and you can, but you shouldn't fight for it in your older age,
Mhm.
once you've worked for 20 or 30 years
Like,
to pay off everything else. What you should do is not get in debt the first place. And if
right.
you can't afford it, you don't need it. You don't need it. You can feed yourself. You put yourself in the correct environment to be able to succeed. And you do what these two young people right here are doing. And you make a choice that I'm going to work my butt off without the keyword, without debt or minimal debt.
Mhm.
And then this time, by the time I'm 28 years old, by the time I'm 30 years old, by the time I'm 40 years old, I am not going to have debt, period. I'm not going to carry debt during that
Yeah.
time. And if I only can make $12 or $13 an hour, and it takes me 20 years to get to this point, but I'm feeding myself, I'm happy, and I have a loving family around me, at that point in time, I'm going to purchase
Yeah.
that piece of property.
Yeah, you can
And I'm
also
gonna get
do
it
it
done.
in steps.
Yeah.
The way I, for myself, we're
Hey,
gonna
Mark,
put
what's
up a
going on,
rule
buddy?
that we're not gonna spend more than 5% of our yearly income on a vehicle,
Right.
and it's gotta be purchased only in cash.
Yeah.
Like our last vehicle we bought, it was under 2%
Yeah.
of our income. Now, then for a house, not more than 80% of your yearly income for a house. And here's the key to what I think should work better: buy smaller place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Why you need bigger
get
place?
something
I've
cheaper,
seen
or buy a property and build it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can $600 gets your 24 by 36 for season tent that is insulated, that you can turn into a home.
Yeah.
And you can
Until you
slowly
build.
build up from
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
And let's look at something. Let's look at something from this level that's on the same way that he's going.
Mhm.
All right. And we've talked about this a
Yeah.
couple of times, but I'm
Yeah.
going to talk to you guys about this.
Right.
All right. Let's say you're not making a bunch of money. Let's say you're making $26,000 a year, and you can stay at home, making $26,000 a year, staying at home, and even giving your parents $100 a month as a young person. I'm talking to the young people now. Or even if you're at an age where you can go back home or with a relative or something. So say you can give them $100 a month, and you're making 26,000 a year. If you don't have a $600 or $700 car payment, you can almost cash 90% of that and still have money to go out on times and every once in a while go see a movie or go eat with friends or something. But now let's look at this. So at the end of that year that you stayed at home, you might have $20,000. So you go to an area and you go to the county and you go to the county and say, look, I'm 19 years old. I have $20,000 that I've saved up really good, and talk to the city planner, talk to the mayor. I've got this kind of money. Have you guys foreclosed on anything that you want to be cleaned up and made back presentable for us to do? Okay. So now you take that $20,000, you might buy a piece of property that's not what you want, not where you want, for $10,000 or $15,000 and have enough money to go in there and now the next year be able to fix up and do, depending on coding. Now, that's not where you want to go, but guess what happens at the end of you getting it done? And if it takes you 5 years to do it, guess what happens? Now you got a property that's worth 50, 60, 70, 80, $150,000, and you have the ability to roll that. Now, when you roll that and clear that, you have 60, 70, $80,000 after taxes that's in your pocket at 21 years old, 22 years old. Now you start in there, and your next purchase may not even be where you want to be. Your next purchase may be that purchase of 5 acres and you build a small home on it, and you make the decision that I'm going to learn how to homestead here on 5 acres or 2 acres, and I'm going to place myself in a position where I'm learning this process, and in 5 years I'm going to roll this homestead over. I'm still going to live frugal. I'm still going to live under debt with debt free, and I'm still going to make what money I can off of my homestead and my side hustle, and I'm going to add it to that nest egg that I already had over here. And at the end of the day, now you might have $120,000 in 10 years, and you're only 30 years old, and you've got 50 acres, and you've built your little house, and you know what you're doing now. So now you've got what you need. You got the property size. You have the soil that you need. And now I'm going to market garden. I'm going to raise chickens. I'm going to raise goats. And I'm going to make my income my way on my self-worth. My dollar is going to be made to give to me. And now you're living. And at that point in time, if you want to go to dinner once every Friday night at a nice restaurant, you're not worrying about it. You're not worried about it because you're making an income and you have no debt. So where you might have to make $3,500 or $4,500 a month just to cover your debt, you're living the same way that person is, and you only have to make $500 a month to cover your basic expenses, to buy a propane tank, to fill your tractor up with diesel, whatever it may be.
Hectares are bigger than acres. Yes.
Yes.
And Mark is here. Hello, Mark.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, he popped in.
Yeah.
She Bear Acre says my daughter's car payment is $480 a month. Full coverage insurance is $250. Told her to buy outright, but she didn't think mom does. Well, most people don't. Chris, I know I should reach. I should research this, but
buying brand new
taking advantage of Ivan being from Russia, a hectare. Yeah, it is bigger.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm trying to say is, when you're starting it out, if you can go debt free, especially if you're young, if you can find an advantage of being able to stay there, or doing like these guys may do and going, okay, I met somebody, they're a little older, they understand homesteading, I can gather knowledge from them.
Right.
I'm going to work out a deal where I go gather as much knowledge as I can, and we're going to live there. Yelana's going to stay at home and she's going to help work and do this stuff. And then a week out of the month, she's going to jump in a truck with me and we're going to drive and we're going to make money and we're going to do this. But they have no debt going out, but they can live. If they can find some place where they can live for a year and still make income.
Right.
And they learn the skills and skill set, which they do through a program called Workaway. Where they go and they work at these places, and it's not necessarily as much about a financial gain, but a knowledge gain and a self-investment of two mutual people getting something that they need.
Virtually no expenses.
Right.
On the spot.
People do pay Not many
Sometimes
places, but
Yeah,
people do pay.
yeah, but it's not about
Not the main thing.
it's not about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
income.
it's
It's
not
about
that.
it's
Yeah,
about I can't afford someone to come build me a barn,
right,
but I have the knowledge to build a barn and I have the materials to build a barn.
right.
Now, I have the knowledge to help build a barn, but I don't have the house to go stay in to do it. So now you start rolling it through.
So
Which one?
Dukan's saying that their home was a repo with 10 acres in house and a barn and stables, 2 wells and 2 cisterns for only 60K.
Not bad. You may
Yeah,
want to.
Yeah, repo park.
yeah,
Wow.
repo
But-
is interesting.
But see, that's
Yeah.
but here's the key. Here's the key when you look at that.
Property title search.
Well, not only property title search, but cash in hand.
Yes.
True. That you're
If
ready
you go to
pay.
the bank and you have
Right.
cash in hand,
Uh-huh.
it's easier to buy a repo
But
property
you don't
or a
need a
burnt.
bank.
Look. Well, what I'm saying though is, if most time repos and stuff are through a bank,
Yes.
so you can't buy. You can't buy.
Sure.
So what I'm saying,
yeah,
you
I
walk
get
in the
it.
bank and I have a handful of cash. That bank's going to be willing to sell that to you at a cheaper price
Right.
because
Okay.
they no longer have anything.
True.
And another thing to look
Okay.
for, is burnouts. Look for a home that's burnt down. Don't go burn a house down, please God, don't do that.
Do that.
But look for burnouts. Look for
Yeah.
something where somebody's lost their home to a fire and the bank's bought it back and they've decided to move on because it's too much on them where it's at
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
whatever it is. A lot of times it may cost the bank $25,000 to $30,000 to have somebody go in there and clean that up.
Yeah.
Well, the piece of property might be worth $40,000 or
If the basement's still
$50,000.
there.
What I'm saying though is it might cost that bank
Yeah.
$40,000 or $50,000 to clean that, or $25,000 to $30,000 to clean it up, where you can go in and find it and buy it from the bank
Mhm.
for $10,000 or $15,000 and get a $40,000 piece of property
Right.
Yes.
that's already got septic, electrical, and everything, and you'll have to do some work and you
Yeah.
clean it up,
Yeah.
but they'll sell it to you for $15,000
Exactly.
because they're coming out at a break
And
even
guess what? I
because they're
have
not spending money.
experience in that.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's see.
White edibles.
Ivan can learn a lot about the wild edibles from you, Chris. Yeah, we're trying. We're gonna be
Yeah.
out there doing some stuff like that when we come back. We're gonna hike to the falls.
Yeah.
He's gonna jump in some tree stands with me and some blinds, I think, when I get back and spend some time in the woods. Even though I don't think you're gonna buy a license because it's like $300 or $400. Anybody wants to buy his Tennessee hunt license, he's willing to go.
Yeah.
But you know, we're
Donations
talking about
accepted.
we're talking about debt now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to spend $300 to do that when he doesn't have a position to where he can store that food right now,
Right.
$300 would be a wise
If I
move.
had a big
if you had
old
a-
freezer
right.
with the solar panel on my
Oh,
trailer,
yeah.
sure.
Like when we talk about that, like when I finished my high school, like I knew that I want to work in an office, like receptionist type, and I was looking like for career, but because like when you finish school, like you have to go to college. I'm like, well, I need to go to college, and then I went to this college. It doesn't exist now, but what happened? I am debt now by 5-digit number. If I knew it that there's programs where you can pay like 5,000 instead of 40,000, I would do it.
Yeah.
It's just at that time, I know,
No one tells you that.
like I knew that I want
Yeah.
it, and I have associate degree right now. I have a diploma where it says
Right.
associate degree in medical office administration, but have I don't really use that. It's been like
Right.
5 years.
Well,
more
well,
than
the
5
thing
years now.
is college education
Yeah,
is the biggest scam in the world.
Yes.
that's true.
Because it's an economic thing, and it's just like our
Yes.
states being a corporation versus a
Yeah.
sovereign state.
Yeah.
And that's the difference of where you talk about a sovereign state versus a unified state or a republic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should take off the federal backing.
Well, I think if they did that, you would drop the cost on colleges a lot.
Yes.
if you
Not
did a
only
lot of
that, they would stop. Signing on people into debt left and right.
Well,
Well-
not everybody needs to be in college.
Well, what
Exactly.
That's the
eventually
key.
happened?
Not everybody's smart enough to be in college. You have the
Not
right
even
to
that,
go to
not-
college.
Not everyone needs it, even if they're smart.
Well, no, well, but what I'm saying though is that we've pushed for so long until here recently in the last
Yeah.
3 years you've seen a switch.
Yeah,
We've pushed so long that everybody needs to go to college.
I know.
You can't get a good job unless you have
Yeah.
a college
Yeah,
education.
right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right. I can be a
Just like in
plumber,
that
I can be
joke.
a carpenter, and I can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a
Oh,
year
yes.
by cleaning up
Sure.
your poop you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
Literally.
what
They're
it
never touching it.
what it has to be is you can't be, and I'm going to point at ELYN on this one. You can't be like ELYN's mom, where you're telling you, I want you to be a city girl. I don't want you to be a farm girl.
What happened,
When
yeah.
you, as a parent, take your child and limit them automatically to
Mhm.
what they can and cannot do,
True.
instead of building them up to do any, like my daughter
Mhm.
can do anything she
Oh,
wants to
yeah.
do in her life.
She's
I
small,
am-
but she knows so much.
and
She's super
she's-
smart.
And she's going to be able to do that.
She
But
will
guess
be,
what?
for
You
sure.
also have to teach her how to be godly. You
Yeah.
also have to teach her, as well as I can as a man, to be a woman. I got to teach her even more so how a man is supposed to treat a woman by having her around good people,
Right.
good couples, good relationships,
Mhm.
and that she can understand that, hey, it's okay to let a godly man put me on a pedestal and make me his queen and
Right.
treat me with the utmost respect, because such as Proverbs said tonight, a man that finds a wife is successful, is full, is
Yeah.
loving, is
Yeah.
godly. When you find that, and you find that the point is there, and that it's okay for him to take care of you,
Mhm.
but realizing that there may be a point in time when you have to take care of him.
Yeah.
And that's great, because a good man that has a strong woman
Mhm.
knows he's taken care of for life,
Yeah.
because he has Jesus Christ watching his back, and he has a strong woman watching his back.
Yeah.
And if you have those two things, and you have a godly woman raising your children and educating your children, and you're being a godly man, and you're staying in there and doing the things you want to do, guess what? Life is easy.
Mhm.
Life is easy at that point. But when you start bringing in limitations, it's crazy.
I like the comment that sheep are
I have a degree in business management, but I make more money driving a truck than I can with my degree.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Well,
meant to
that's
say that
exactly
earlier when
in
I saw
my
it.
opinion. I was like, wait a minute, I can work in an office and get $18 an hour, but
In
I don't
trucking.
have the experience I need. Like they require 1 to 2 years. I'm like, how in the world I'm gonna get if they
Right,
Yeah.
right.
like I have
If
to
you
go
got to go
to
volunteer
Yeah,
and
yeah,
give away
like
your
I
time.
have to go to hospital and all that stuff
Well-
to volunteer. I'm like,
And let's look at something simple, okay?
yeah.
Let's look at this. All right, I can go spend $250,000
Mhm.
and maybe get my medical degree, or start to get my medical
Right.
degree, okay?
Right.
Or I can get out of high school and go to work for the local plumber
Exactly.
and make
Yes.
$10 an hour,
Exactly.
not doing a very hard job,
True.
but doing a nasty job. Let's not even say the plumber.
Yeah.
Let's say the guy that runs your rotor-rooter and cleans out septic systems.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good night, Cecilia. We appreciate you being
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Good night.
And I go out and I learn how to do that job. I learn how to clean
Right.
a sewer pipe, a septic system pipe,
Uh-huh.
and I learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And I can make 50 grand a year
Oh yes.
by cleaning the pipe.
Mhm.
Where are you benefiting more? Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to go clean
Yeah.
up poop.
Yeah. we
I'm
would
saying
say
that let's go this route.
Uh-huh.
Let's go military. Where else can a young person go straight out of high school, get educated for free in a skill,
Mhm.
get free insurance, get free housing,
Mhm.
get fed 3 square meals a day,
Yeah.
and get paid on top of it? Now, they
Yeah.
don't get paid as much as what they should, and I agree with that 100%. But where can you go do it? And then travel?
Mhm.
And in the Marine
Mhm.
Corps, travel to new places, kill new people. That's a joke. But when you can go through there and you do that stuff, and you find yourself in that situation, the military is not a bad option. Now, yes, do you have an opportunity or a chance of giving your life for your
Mhm.
country? But then again, that comes where you're building your self value and your self worth. So
Right.
now, Yolanda goes in the military, and I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
She goes in the military. She gets the exact same associate's degree that she has now
Right.
in medical office management. She's in the military. She's made money. And now she's got 4 years of experience. When she comes out,
Right.
she's got the exact same degree, and she goes straight into a job. Now
Mhm.
she's making that kind of money.
Mhm.
So there's different ways that you can do stuff. It's
Yeah.
not for everybody. Not everybody can get in the.
Right.
Yeah, Richie
Dirty
Gill, the
Jobs.
Dirty Jobs is an awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
movie.
now the same host has another show called Returning the Favor. It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
And there's things that you. I'm not. It's not everything is for everybody. We have to have
True.
doctors, We don't have to have lawyers. Actually, we don't need them at all. But we have to have doctors. We have to have nurses. We have to have anesthesiologists. We have to have those people, and we have to have those people that go on. And you don't have to be the most intelligent person to go do those. You have to have the passion and drive to go and learn to do those things. And that's the key. When you go through, and that's the difference of our educational system and every other country's educational system. Our educational system says everybody will attend school until the age of 17, and then they have the right to leave in the United States of America.
Right.
And they don't really get to change their way. It's changing a little bit now of going to a trade program or into a situation where you're going to get a higher education. So you don't really get that. We mandate that. But if you go to Japan and places that they talk about how much smarter their kids are for us, no, they're not smarter. It's just a smaller percentage of them being tested in the thing, because when they reach a certain age, they're told, you're smart enough to go to medical school. You're going to medical school. You have the aptitude to be a carpenter. You're going to a trade school. You have the aptitude to become a teacher. You're going to learn to be an educator. And you have those things that's dictated to you where you're going to go and how you're going to be there by an aptitude test. Whereas I don't think that you aptitude test every child, because like for me, I was a DC student. But if I wanted to be a doctor, I could be a doctor, but I'm going to have to show that extra skill that I'm going to get there. So I'm going to need to change that up and go on and go through there. And you still have a place to go.
Yeah, Mama Z was saying that she's refusing to let her daughter take out student loan, and
that's a good choice.
Yeah, so the in college,
taking my pants off, I promise.
In college, yes, they'll use phrases like, "Why are you telling your adult daughter what to choose?" And you have the right position on that. I totally agree with you. As a 29-year-old, here's what I'm gonna say about it. If she wants to make that mistake and go into debt, you can say, only after you move out.
Yeah, we're not going to pay. We're not going to pay for it. We're not going to help you with
only
it.
After you move out and do everything on your own. That's when you're allowed to take go into debt.
Yeah.
That'll make them think twice.
Where they acknowledge that actually they have to provide.
If they want to be adult, let them be adult.
So you're like me, you get to talk about it.
Yeah. I'm heated about this subject.
Oh yeah.
You have to take, and you have to go to that point of where you have to. I'm drinking lemonade. Country Time lemonade is what I'm drinking with ice, guys. Ice is a luxury on the mountain when you're off grid. So we've been cooking. All right, now here you go. You guys know I finally put in the 12-volt fridge, the small fridge to keep certain things. And I have my cooler still, my Ritka cooler that I go with. No vodka, no gin in there. Nope, promise, not tonight. And but we've been cooking so much that we've had 3 coolers. They brought a cooler and I've had 2 coolers full of food to cook. And we've actually been on fire with cooking. And it's been really nice. I drink Moscow Cream L. I got you, Richie Gill. So, but I mean, I think these are discussions that we need to have, and we need to have openly around our children, and that we need to have, and we need to explain. I want to be able to allow and give ELYN every opportunity that she wants. Okay. And if she wants to go to medical school, I'll help and try to provide that to her in any way she wants. But by trying and helping her get and achieve that, she has to show me the drive and determination. The intelligence part of it only plays 10% for me. Because if I tell you I'm going to be a doctor in 5 years, and I told you tonight that I'm going to be a doctor in 5 years, I'm going to be a doctor in 5 years because I have to have that drive in there. I may not have the intelligence to make it on alone, but I have the understanding, the drive, and the commitment to get there. And if my daughter can show me that she has that, there's nothing I can do to help her. At the same time, if she steps up and she says, I'm going to be a veterinarian, but she's never feeding the animals. She's never helping birthing goats. She's never out there doing any of that stuff. She's not going to veterinarian school.
No, she's not going there.
Unless she does like Ivan says, moves out, goes on and produces that, takes on her own debt, takes on her own thing. And when that comes to that point in time, that's not saying dad still doesn't help her, but
Right.
dad's not paying her debt anymore
Yeah.
because dad's worked really
He's
hard
not
to get out of
enabling.
debt.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's just like smoking weed or crack or whatever else.
Yeah.
You don't give your kid, if your kid's living at home and smoking weed and drinking beer and going to parties every weekend or at the pub every night, that kid doesn't need to be in your home.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you love them.
Uh-huh.
If that kid's going to school and they're working hard and they're trying to better themselves and stuff, and they go out to the pub every week once in a while or
Yeah.
on Friday nights, okay, great.
Yeah.
But they're not asking you for
Yeah.
money and they're working and they're stable
Yeah.
and they're over the age of 18, great.
Yeah.
But if they're at home, if your kid's drinking more beer than you are, they don't need to be living in your house. If you're
Yeah.
walking in and your 12 packs cracked open and you're done, that
So,
kid doesn't need to be in your house. That's not tough love.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
common sense as an
Yes.
adult.
Exactly.
So, Rich Gill, what do you think about free federally paid post-secondary? I don't think there's anything free from federal government.
No.
All right, guys.
Only
This is
scholarship,
a
but
whole
you have
this
to
is
do-
a whole different realm.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you my personal opinion on how you fix that. Okay, so here it is. Chris, single dad homesteading on what is today's date? 9/16/2020
Mhm.
is going to fix the world's problems.
Okay.
Right
That's
now.
it.
All right.
We're going to start with welfare and education combined into one. So, here we go. The way you correct those, and I'm understand before I start, caveat, you have a physical limitation, a mental limitation, or something like that. There's allowances for that.
Mhm.
But every born U.S. citizen, every accepted U.S. citizen that comes into the United States of America has 2 years of stipend. We won't call it welfare. You get that because you're an American. 2 years of stipend after the age of 18. Okay. You get 2 years of stipend. So therefore, you go through, we have a free educational system
Mhm.
until you reach 17 or graduate high school. So you go through and you get to that. Now, you have 2 years of welfare, a stipend that's given to you, and you can get an associate's degree.
Mhm.
You can go to a trade school. You can go do that. And during this time, you have free medical.
Mhm.
If you choose to go into the military or serve your country in a military type state, in a non-combat role, if we had mandatory 2 year service, in a non-combat role where you were serving your country, you get another 2 years of stipend.
Mhm.
So now guess what? You can get a bachelor's degree.
Wow.
You can start a business
Yeah.
because you have somebody paying your basic bills.
Right.
Now, this sounds like all common sense stuff, but you can't get that through a politician's head. Now, I'm not really giving you anything because after 4 years, guess what happens? If you gave your service, you're still paying taxes.
Mhm.
Okay? You're still going through and doing this stuff. Now, how do I roll medical into this? Chris, you say, how do you take care of our medical program?
Right.
Well, you then offer free education for someone that has the aptitude and the drive that can show that they can do this and that wants to go to medical school. And you say, we will pay that debt of $400,000 or $500,000 for you to go to medical school by the time it's done. We'll take that burden. We will give you a substantial stipend while you're going to school. And when you, upon graduation, you will go to work for a 4 year term in a medical corps or whatever it is, treating and helping the American people. And at that point in time, we'll cover your malpractice insurance, we'll cover all of this, and we'll pay you as an officer's pay that's been in the military for
Mhm.
8 to 10 years. You're receiving that money. Now, I know the VA is broken, but you're doing that. Now, I graduated top of my class. I'm a neurosurgeon. I'm this, that, and other. I'm, John Hopkins wants me. Duke University wants me. All these big hospitals want me. Okay, then they have the choice to buy you out as that. But with that buyout, for 4 years, you have to perform so many services for the general public.
Yes.
So now
yeah.
I'm not taking away a specialty doctor that we educated and we did this, and it's still free market. You're just offering to take these things away. So now you've taken care of welfare. You've created a more intelligent, more work-based ethic in your community, in your country, and you're giving a base style of some type of a healthcare program.
Right.
Where do you go wrong in that?
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that we didn't go into and do that is I'm not going to give you a job. You got to work for it either way it
Yes.
goes.
Exactly.
But you're clearing up so much debt. But the reason they'll never do that is because the student loan program and the banking system have got it rigged so
Lobby.
that you no longer have your self worth. You're selling your self worth to go to college. Because now, as you go to college and you get further in debt, now you have to work for the other man that's made all the money, make him more money. And by the time you're 40 or 50 years old, maybe you paid off your debt and you get 10 years to work for yourself.
Mhm.
Yes, true.
It's lobby.
There is a price for everything. And the point is as the American people, what price do we want? That's where the change has to come. As the American people, what price do we want our government to spend? And where do we want to spend that money? Versus right now, the government saying, this is the price you're going to spend.
Yeah.
Big difference, guys, when you say, okay, this is what we want and this is how we want it to happen, and we vote the right people in the office to do. Now, I'm not saying my plan is perfect. I'm just saying it's a lot damn better than what we are here. And if you have far left side people that want to give everything away, and then you have far right side conservative that wants to take everything away, if we sit down and talk common sensely, what we need to do to better our country, to bring our country together, you got to have a plan like that. Your plan is a lot damn better. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying, man. I'm a computer programmer. We need a database of all available jobs and use the kids,
Kinds.
the kinds of bachelor's BS. They use Facebook ads to match people. Yeah, I mean, the simple fact is, guys,
There is indeed.
it's like with everything else. We're talking education. We can throw it into race. The American people as a whole are not racist people. Black people aren't racist and white people aren't racist. Democrats and Republicans are racist. The political parties, not the individual Democrat and
Mhm.
Republican. Do we have racist people in America? Yes. As a whole across the board, are all white people racist? No. Are all black people racist? No.
No.
Do the majorities of those two groups get along and can work and can coincide and stuff? Absolutely.
Exactly.
And then you say,
Yeah.
yeah, Chris, but you ain't ever been to the Bronx. You ain't ever been here with no one. Well,
Forget
guess
the
what?
Bronx.
My roommate in the Marine Corps was from the Bronx. And you know what his first words out of his mouth were? You can come visit me at my home anytime, Chris. Me talking to him. You can come visit me anytime. And I said, well, when am I going to get to go home? Because he was bringing in chitlins and stuff every weekend. And that's not a racist comment. He was bringing them in. And I was like, oh, man. I'll let somebody handle that. Where he was bringing this food, and I love Southern food. I'm from the South, and I'm like, I'm coming home with you next weekend just to eat Grandma's cooking. And he literally looks at me and says, Chris, you would get along with everybody in my family and everybody in the neighborhood. He said, but if you were sitting on the stoop at night, someone would come by and shoot you. And I looked at him, I said, why would somebody come by and shoot me, Stevens? And he said, dude, because you're white. That's not society as a whole. That's a public, a little small place in America that, to be honest, democratically ran, that's placing in everybody's head that white people are holding you down. White people don't want you to make it. White people don't want you to have an equal opportunity. On the flip side of the coin, the Republican side saying, hey, white people, all these black people that live in inner communities just want to kill you. All these black people live in the inner cities just are wanting to be a burden on society. No, they want a better life for them and their children. And we've not given them the opportunity to have that. And that's black and white on inner city. We have Planned Parenthood that's killing 20 and 30,000 babies a month. That's mass genocide. That's killing out our African American brothers and sisters. That's not giving them the opportunity to be the heart surgeons, which was created by a black man. That's not giving them the opportunity to be a lawyer, a congressman, an astronaut, a military personnel, or just the guy that does do your plumbing. I got cold chills. It doesn't give those children the right. There's more black babies killed because of the Democratic Party and Planned Parenthood, and you can lay that directly on the Democratic Party in this country than everywhere else. You want to talk about mass genocide? Planned Parenthood and the individuals that are running and farming. And guess what? There's some Republicans that fund it too. That every time it comes by, they may badmouth it, but they sign away. See, the only racist groups that we have aren't white and black guys. It's politicians that want to keep white people and black people mad at each other. The day that me and my black brother stand up and go out there and saying no more, when we say no more, this ain't about police brutality. This is not about this. This is about you telling me that I'm going to be divided by someone that has Jesus Christ's blood running through their veins. It's there. Because if you crack an egg open, if it's a white egg, a brown egg, or a green egg, it's still an egg. It still cooks the same. It still looks the same. It still bleeds the same. It still loves the same. Because it's Jesus's blood that runs inside of all of us. Yeah. And that's the key. We got to get back to morality in the United States of America. Because if we don't get back to morality and loving one another and treating one another with respect, we are truly done. And we have the opportunity to get back there. But it's not going to take burning down buildings. It's not going to take beating each other in the streets and shooting each other. Okay? It's not going to do that. And it's both sides of the political aisle. We have to get Americans into office and not political parties.
Yes.
We have to get Americans into office, not political parties. Yeah. And I know I'm on top of my box right now, and I'm preaching y'all. I always do it.
But I would say we need average Joes.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. We need Americans, because a politician is a career.
Yes.
See, that's the difference. There's no duty in the word politician. There's no commitment like there was like before you had everybody going and staying at the White House and going to DC and staying where they had it. You only met once or twice a year, guys. That's all we did.
Speaking of which, you know what's the perfect definition of Congress? It's the opposite of progress. Pro.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. If we weren't abortion in clinics, there would be abortion in alleyways and vet clinics. But people need to realize it is taking a life to abort. Yeah, and here's the thing: you're always going to have something to do that way. But when you take a father out of a home like they have in the black community and in lower income communities, we won't even just say the black. We'll say when you take a father out of a community and you degrade the moral structure of a country to the point of where you pay a mother more to be a single mother than you do help a family get out of a hole because they decide to stay a family unit. That's where the problem comes. And when you take in that morality breaks down, and then you start having someone that goes out, man or woman, and lays and spreads their legs or lays on top of a woman and creates life inside of a womb, and then decides it's morally okay just to go out because I had a good time and killed that innocent child. Because if you kill a pregnant woman in the United States today, you are charged with 2 murders.
Yes.
But if that woman goes to the hospital at the same length of time that she's pregnant and has an abortion, it's legal. You tell me how that's possible. Yeah. You tell me how that's possible. Drug war, that's an easy one. Put a 50-gallon drum full of every drug that's known to man that's not synthetically, not like meth or something, like it's not synthetically made up,
Mhm.
but any drug, heroin, cocaine, marijuana, anything of that nature. You put a 50-gallon drum and you put 2 police officers with it, okay? And you legalize everything. Now, this is going to sound really bad. You legalize everything. And the 2 police officers are to keep the drug dealers and everybody else from making a profit off of it by coming and getting it, confiscating and reselling it. You put it there. Individuals that can go out and do those drugs on the weekend or do something of that nature,
They can grab.
that's fine. If they're stupid, they're going to kill themselves off. I know that sounds horrible, but they're no longer going to be here. But you don't have any theft anymore because I don't have to break into somebody's house. I don't have to do any of this
Yes.
crazy enough to get the drug.
Yeah.
Now, you have police officers standing there watching this barrel. So if somebody does something and they lose their mind, it's usually on the synthetic stuff,
Yeah.
not on the other things. It's on taking cocaine and making it into crack cocaine
Yeah.
or PCP or methamphetamine. You got all those things there. It's chemically manufactured. I know cocaine is chemically manufactured, but the actual process, the cocoa leaf, is what I'm saying. You don't have Drano. You don't have any other acetaminophen
Yeah.
all mixed in together. But if you do that and you take that away, now I'm not paying any money on a war on drugs. I'm not paying any money on the incarceration of people that are out here stealing and doing so.
Mhm.
I'm not paying money for incarceration for 3-strike rule where I had an ounce of weed on me and I got busted for distributing because I had an ounce of weed on me and I got caught 3 times because I like to smoke weed. And weed, marijuana, guys, and I don't smoke marijuana. I drink very little. But let's take marijuana into the picture. The only reason marijuana is a gateway drug is because you have to break the law to get it in most states. It's not because of its addictiveness. It's silly. Weed is legal in Canada. Let's see.
Yeah.
If you had pharmaceutical companies making drugs, it would cost 50 cents a gram. Yeah, it's just craziness on how everything goes. But it's also a way to control a group of people.
Mhm.
And that is also a way to do that. Prison systems and stuff have become so much of a market and a business that it's there. So I mean, we can get on a bunch of different boxes. We came in here to talk about these guys. We've been going now for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get off of here because I gotta leave tomorrow to go to Florida and drive a long ways. And these guys got to get up and do farm chores the day after tomorrow. They don't have to do them tomorrow and all that good stuff. So thanks for coming on, Rich Gilly.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, man. I really appreciate that. Duncan 1900, all of you guys that are on here and joined us tonight, we love you. Don't forget to put Jessica Lyle and everybody else on this chat in your prayers,
Yes.
but put her in a special place
Yeah.
tonight and, say a prayer for her young couple that'll go out there. Tiffany, good night. But as always, God bless. Live with what God gives you,
Yeah.
and we're out of here.
Yeah. Live the other life.
There we go. That was a good.